that way.
Good
Good catch, Shamji. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Once we did, twice shy. Thank you so much.
Fine, right? Thank you. So let's get started. We'll do our opening prayers and then we'll get into the deeper philosophical discussion on the fascinating topic of Guru that we are having. So let me share my screen and then we will get underway. Hope you're able to see the screen. Okay, we'll do opening prayers and then we'll get started. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Radhe Radhe. Morning, good evening to all of you once again. So let's get started. So we are on Shloka 4.34 that we have been talking about. So I think today would be last but one in this series of Guru. Tomorrow we'll have a concluding lecture session that we'll do on this topic. So I'm going to recite it, and then you're welcome to follow along. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninastattvadarshinah. Those of you who are new, just wanted to let you know, we do it one verse a day, sometimes one verse a week. We go really deep into these shlokas and we go back and forth, cover the length and the depth, the range and the depth both of Bhagavad Gita, but typically we do one verse a day. And then if there are some critical topics, some of the foundational topics, we really go back and forth so that we get the true import out of it and then see how we can implement it in our practical day-to-day life as well. So with that said, let's have a few hands and then we'll get started.
Dinesh ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Dinesh ji.
Radhe Radhe. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshyanti te gnanam gnanina tattvadarsinah. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Two cameras on. Yeah, Rashi Radhe Radhe.
People who have cameras on, and then maybe we can pick up 5 hands. We have a lot of content to cover today. Okay.
Radhe Radhe. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninastattvadarshinah. Thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
Uday Kumar ji, Radhe Radhe.
Yeah. Radhe Radhe. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninastattvadarshinah. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Rishi.
Riya ji, Radhe Radhe.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya.
I think we lost her. Riya ji, we can't hear you. Let's move on to the next one. Can we call the new hand? We can't hear Riya ji.
Ji? Can you hear me?
Radhe Radhe. Yeah. Can I chant?
Sure, please.
Okay. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninastattvadarshinah. Thank you.
Falguni ji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnen sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam gnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you. Last but not the least, please go ahead. Okay, nobody's there?
We can start now. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started. This shloka, Lord Krishna is telling Arjun that learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Spiritual master, guru is what we are talking about in our discussion for the last 1 week. We will have 2 more sessions today included, and then we will wrap up this conversation and move to 4.35. If there are any questions that you thought you needed an answer on and they're still not answered, please put it in the feedback tracker. Rahul, we can post that. Today's your opportunity to ask that question if you have not addressed that. And then we are going to pick it up in our concluding session. That way, everything is covered. I see some smiling faces in the car. So thank you for joining, Komalji, Monica-ji. All right. We are rushing from a session today we had, for Diwali after dinner. So I'm coming from there as well. And I see Pooja ji with Arya as well. All right. So what Lord Krishna is saying, learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him with reverence and render service unto him. Such an enlightened saint can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Today we are going to talk about how do we recognize a true saint or a true guru. Also, can we change gurus? And also the fact that does a guru need a guru? It has to be a chain, right? People say. So we'll talk about all these questions today. So hopefully it will answer a lot of unanswered questions, but much more. So let's get started with our soul soup segment like we always do. So we do it in a 3-phase manner, like it's more of an appetizer where we pick on a concept, practical concept that we can implement in our life. Then we go to the philosophical discussion of Bhagavad Gita, and then we do the chanting as segment. So let's get started. We are doing a success, happiness, and fulfillment series. And as part of this series, today's nugget is, yesterday we spoke about there are 2 kinds of motivations, internal or external. External is when something outside happens, you feel inspired. If your boss praises you, you feel good. But the flip side of that is if the boss does not praise you or somebody criticizes you, then you feel deflated. And the point was that the way to insulate yourself from that is to have an internal motivation where you make it agnostic. You take that external factor out of the equation altogether. Regardless, you will do your best. Now, what is the key to internal motivation is what we are going to talk about today as our soul soup segment. So these are internal and external motivations we spoke about. Now, in order for us to develop a strong internal motivation, we need a very strong why. Okay. So there was a guy, I'll tell you a story, in the weather of Shimla, like I'm from Himachal, so it can really snow hard in Shimla. So there was a salesman from Delhi. He went to Shimla to sell his wares. And then he spent the night in a wayside inn along the way. And next morning, he discovered there was a heavy snowfall throughout the night and the road was completely white and blocked. So the innkeeper, he asked that innkeeper, over a tea in the morning, do you think I'll be able to go out and sell my goods in these conditions? He asked the innkeeper. And the innkeeper replied, he said, sir, it really depends on whether your work is on commission or on salary. If you're on salary, you'll say whatever, there I can always say that the weather was bad, the roads were blocked. But if you're on commission, then you will go at that extra yard to make sure the sales happen. So you have a strong why in that case, right? Similarly, there's another story I will tell you. There was a king. He had a beautiful queen, and that queen fell in love with a menial palace servant. Okay, love can do funny things, right? The material love, so to say. She fell in love with that menial servant. Now, she was having that affair, so the king decided to handle the matter very tactfully. He came to know about it. So what he said, rather than punishing the queen, he decided to redeem his honor from his servant. So what he told his servant was that, we will have a sword war. And Then he thought that I'm going to slay him and then make basically avenge this thing that is going on right now, defeating him. And then he thought, he's a servant and I'll defeat him, it will be a child's play, and then everything will be restored. Now both donned armors and they started fighting with swords and shields. Much to the king's chagrin, what happened was the servant was no pushover. He was fighting tooth and nail, and his focus was razor sharp, which surprised the king. And slowly but surely, the king started getting tired. And then, rather than getting embarrassed, he said, "Stop, I forgive you. You can leave my palace, but do not ever, I don't want to see you in my kingdom or in my palace anymore." And then he asked his minister, commander-in-chief, how in the world this servant learned such a show, to fight such a show. And I thought it is going to be a cakewalk. So then his minister's commander-in-chief said, I doubted it from the beginning, Your Highness. He said there was a difference. For you, it was a mere sport. You did not have a motivation to perform, but for the servant, it was a matter of life and death. And that is where the internal motivation came. You see the difference? He was fighting. He thought it's going to be a cakewalk, but for this guy, it became a matter of life and death. So the point is, this is the secret for the internal motivation. So there are three things. Whatever you want to do in life, the first thing that we need to think about is, why do I need to do this? Now, it could be as simple as dieting or fasting, intermittent fasting, or giving up something, that excessive food that we always indulge in. Why do I need to do this? That's the first thing. Then you need to ask, what will I gain from this activity? You need to make a note of it. Okay, why I need to do this? Because I want to feel healthy, or I want to build six packs, or I want to feel fresh, or whatever the case may be. What will I gain from this activity? That is the second thing. And then most importantly, document it. What will I lose if I do not accomplish the goal? And in spirituality also you can apply it. Why do I need to make seva, satsang and sadhana my priority? Because I'll get closer to the goal of human life. This is a framework you can extend to any walk of life. Whether you are a student, whether you are a professional, whether you are in any profession for that matter, this framework can be applied to something you want to really do. So put a mental note, why do I need to do this? Human life is precious, so it is important. What will I gain from this activity? It will make me, get more closer to happiness, gain peace, mental peace, joy, all that stuff. What will I lose if I don't accomplish the goal, right? 8.4 more million tourism is already waiting for me. And in addition to that, I'll have to deal with the infirmities of my mind, right? So if you follow this framework, that internal motivation will automatically come. So that strong why is the driver. Is that strong why I need to do that enough or not is something we'll talk tomorrow. Now let's get back to our topic of Bhagavad Gita that we're talking about. Now here you see some people watching a movie. They're enjoying it thoroughly, right? It's a vicarious thrill, as they call it in English. Now, what happens if somebody were to interrupt their entertainment? When, see, the movie is going on and you are living that movie, enjoying every scene and all, participating in it as well, until finally somebody puts the light in that room and you say, oh my God, what's going on? Put off the light. You need to enjoy that way, right? So our life is somewhat like this. We are participating in this drama and living those emotions, and until somebody comes and dispels that, and, that guy comes who takes basically this darkness in that hall is taken away, and all of a sudden you wake up, okay, it was just a movie, right? Kind of a deal. And that is the role that Guru plays. Or when you keep on making spiritual progress, you are gradually moving away from participating in this drama and looking at it more as a witness. And Guru plays an instrumental role in that. Okay. Guru does one more thing. He simplifies things for us as well. Okay. There are a lot of complexities involved around a lot of stuff that we see around. So to put it simply, like even the concept of Brahma, Jiva and Maya that we spoke about, that three entities, God himself and his two energies, the marginal energy, who we are, the tiny sparks, and then his Maya energy as well, right? God has actually infinite energies, but Guru has simplified it for us so that we understand what we need to know right now. And then once we realize God, other things will come to our knowledge as well. It's like a kid telling, Mommy, tomorrow we have a parents-teacher meeting at school. So mom asked, all right, then who all is coming? He said, it's between the principal, myself, and you. Okay. So he's hidden the complexity around why it is going to happen there, right? So Guru simplifies it for us as well. Now let's move on. Indicators of a true Guru. Okay, I think we've gone through this slide, but I want to challenge or tackle some of the stereotypes related to this topic as well. Okay, so that we understand it in right perspective. We have certain preconceived notions about how a saint or a guru should look like. So is a saffron dress an indicator of a true guru? Or a long hair, matted hair? Or for that matter, they should walk, talk in a particular manner? Anybody has any preconceptions about people when they look around and say, hey, you know what? If he's a true saint or a guru, he should walk like this, talk like this, wear clothes like this and stuff like that. Anybody has any of such preconceptions or preconceived notions about it? If you don't have, that's good actually, because it's more of an internal thing. Even for that matter, if Lord Krishna were to descend in today's world, he will not come in with his, possibly not in his Pitambar attire and stuff like that, because he'd look a little weirdo, right? He'll be a cool dude, maybe with shades and all, who knows. So the point there is, same thing goes with gurus as well. Okay, you may not be able to know somebody who's got realized or not. That is a different matter. That is a matter of, there's a uniform for everybody, right? They don that uniform. But even if they don't do, that doesn't mean they have become any less, that point, right? So some of the stereotypes that we think, oh, he spoke like that, and all those, they don't apply to saints at all. Okay, they can be doing Leela just to, for the sake of it, but there's no way for us to employ our material yardsticks or our material parameters to a true saint. So here are some of the indicators. I wanted to bring it again because yesterday somebody had asked a question, I think Sudhakarji, that how do we know? There are some of the symptoms. The true guru's words are very impacting. That is the first symptom you will come across. The words will have an impact on you. It's like, okay, something is making sense. Okay, because it's true knowledge and it is coming from the depths of realization. And the words will go deep into the hearts of the listeners. Okay, that is a great sign. Second is they have an ability to resolve your doubts and dispel your confusion. So it's not like you went with a question and now when you come back, you have 10 more questions in your head. It can happen, but not related to the question that you asked. Because a true saint is answering the person, not necessarily the question. And they know exactly where you are and where your question is coming from. And they will help you remove that impediment. And that is why you would see a lot of people, a lot of saints, they give different answers to different people, although the same question might have been asked, because they know what you need at that point. The third one is a true guru does not give his disciple material allurements. This is a very key thing. They don't entice you with material allurements or miracles, right? So to say that, hey, I'm going to show you some chamatkar to impress you and stuff like that. They will never engage you in material allurements, because the whole idea of spirituality is to take your mind away from the material world, develop dispassion and detachment towards it, so that you are developing love and devotion for God. So the conditioning of our mind is what a true guru is working on. We already have a conditioned mind. We are automatically attached to the world. So his job is to let you see things in perspective so that you start changing that conditioning. And if he's going to engage you with material allurements, then that is not a favor a saint is doing to you, right? He's taking you further into the material world. So that is another indicator, key indicator. They don't engage you at the material level, and they don't even show miracles for the sake of, giving you material boons and stuff like that. Typically, that is how it goes. Association with a true guru, you find yourself naturally getting attached to God and detached from the world. That is another thing you will experience. It's like you start feeling something and your attraction, attachment, fascination, pull toward God starts increasing, or just mere by their association or by being in their close proximity. And the detachment from the world is a natural consequence of it, in the sense that you start understanding the true swaroop, or the true face of the world. Right now, we carry a lot of, what do you call that, misconceptions about the world and the relatives. But the true guru, when they tell you the facts, how the world operates, how many of us knew that all of us are actually very selfish and all of us are operating in a transactional mode with every relationship around? Nobody would even challenge that. But the guru would tell you the way it is, the world, the true face of the world. And when you start understanding that, you start contemplating on that concept, detachment is an automatic consequence of it. How many us, when we talk about sambandhi or our true relative, we bank on so many things in this world. But do we know nobody accompanies us in our journey after life? Nobody. Same relatives who adore you and say big, big things about you will say, push this body out. Okay, we don't want to keep this long enough in the house. Let's take it off. So the point is, our journey is solo, and this drama that we are participating in is good as long as it is done with a sense of duty, not with a sense of building those attachments and then those binding karmas that come along with it. That is the key thing. And then the most important thing is, strongest indication comes from God himself, because he's seated within. God is seated within. He knows. See, when is God pleased? God is pleased when we start taking step towards him, when we make him a priority, because as a father, he wants to give us everything that he has to offer. But as kids, we have not been able to understand that principle. Right? We think that we are going to extract happiness and everything that we are seeking from this world itself. So when we make spirituality our priority, or when we genuinely start seeking and when we genuinely start looking for a true guru, then God notes down that intention. And in due course of time, of course, he has to follow certain rules around it. He will make you meet a personality that will take your journey forward. And when you meet that person, he from inside will turn that key so that you automatically develop that faith that, oh, yes, something is getting clicked here. This is where I need to settle down. So he will give you the strongest indication when you come across a personality or a true personality whom you can associate as a guru. So these are some of the things. Now let's talk about some more on this topic. Now, it could be that we have tried many gurus in our infinite past lifetime seeking God. It's not our first lifetime where we are seeking guru, or we have met our guru, or we will be meeting a guru. Yes, Aparna ji, you had a question?
Radhe, Radhe. Yes, I had a quick question, Nitinji. Does Guru tell you anything to just please you ever, or he always speaks the truth, even if it is the hard truth? That was my question. So I'm just wondering, we should believe, what Guru says. If he acknowledges or recognizes your progress.
Yeah, Guru may do that, to encourage you on this path. But their job is to work on you more than keeping you in a comfort zone. So Guru will inspire you, motivate you, encourage you, of course. And that is how it goes with the new devotees. They get a special. But as you start becoming pakka, more seasoned, then their grace is always with you. But then that personal attention start going to the newbies again, right? Because newbies need that warmth and kid glove treatment and all that stuff. So yes.
So we shouldn't be proud, or we shouldn't think that we have made a lot of progress.
In fact, I would say when he is treating you with special affection, that means you are still a bacha. Starts reprimanding you, that's when you should really feel happy.
Right, because I hear from a lot of devotees that he reprimanded me, he wasn't happy about something with me. So I was like, and then you said that that's actually a great thing to have. So I was just wondering.
It's a great thing. You should actually go Baliha. Oh my God, Guru reprimanded me. This is the sentiment a person should have actually. Okay, so it's just the paradigm shift from your material consciousness. In the world, if your boss praises you, you feel so elated, so happy. This is how the worldly relations go. With Guru, of course, he'll treat you with a lot of care, affection, encouragement, and all that stuff. That is because you are new. When he truly starts reprimanding you, right? That's when you have cut a corner spiritually. So if somebody does that, it doesn't have to be taken in a negative light. In fact, it's a great sign. Okay, it's a very great sign if you get a reprimand from your guru. Okay, so we spoke about how do you identify a guru. Now let's understand how this process unfolds and where the gap is, because it's not our first lifetime where we are meeting a guru, right? Because we have had infinite lifetimes. So there are two possibilities that have happened because of which we have not become Sharanagat to a guru. Two possibilities. Either the guru was not true or we were not true in following his sadhana. One of these two reasons has happened. That is why our journey is still in progress. Okay. Now let's understand this a little more. See, it's like philosopher's stone. When something comes in contact with the philosopher's stone, it becomes gold. Now, if it comes in contact with a philosopher's stone, something, and it does not turn into gold, what is the possibility? Either there was a wrapping around that material because of which the contact was not established, or that philosopher's stone itself was fake. If the philosopher's stone was true and the object that was supposed to come in contact actually met it, that contact was established, then it would turn gold. It's very simple principle. So if we are not able to complete the journey, there are only two possibilities. Either the gurus that we have met were not true gurus, or even though they were true gurus, we were not sincere enough in following the sadhana or the path that they had laid out for us. Logically speaking, these are the two possibilities around it, right? Now, the nature of spiritual happiness, we have already spoken about it. Why we are seeking spiritual happiness, that it's a great power that can only be given to qualified persons. If you give it to an unqualified person, his body will burst and unable to tolerate it. So it's like any other thing which requires qualification. And it is something that can never be stolen or lost. And God, once he's given it, he accepts defeat. Even when Mahapurush, they ask him to leave his heart. So it's like once you have gotten the divine bliss of God, even if you want, it will not leave you. Why would you want to leave bliss? First of all, nobody does. Even in this world, everybody is working for the bliss. And once you get divine bliss, basically you are a done deal at that point, right? And then there is nothing to worry about maintaining it. It will not be lost even if you do sadhana for losing it. I mean, this is just to reiterate the point. Nobody would do sadhana to leave, divine bliss. But even if technically, hypothetically, you would, still you can't. It's like sun. Once the sun comes, the darkness is gone. Darkness is not going to come once the sun or the light is there. So let's look at now guru concept. That let's say you find somebody is not a true guru. I don't know how you will find, but let's say you find that. What do we do in that case? So this brings us to the question of, is it okay to change gurus? Right? People say, oh my God, what's going to happen? So let's understand this concept. So in that case, our scriptures tell us there is no nishad. Nishad means there's nothing forbidding with regards to changing gurus. You need to separate from him silently without quarreling or fighting. That is the key thing. Become neutral to him, no love or no hate. Because you are equally culpable. If you fell for somebody who was telling you eat samosas and you will get your next job or get married and stuff like that, and you fell for it, you are equally culpable for that. And then if for some reason you have a reason to believe, this is not a person who can lead my spiritual journey, or I can entrust this person with my spiritual journey, simply you move on. Okay, there's no reason to harbor resentment towards anybody. You simply move on and become neutral to that completely. Okay. The other thing is that if you wish, you can continue to search for another Mahapurush. Best thing to do is cry out to Lord Krishna, God directly. When you cry out to him, he will make sure you meet the right Mahapurush, because like I said, God is seated within. He is privy to our most intimate thoughts. And when we do it for the right reasons, he will facilitate that process. It's bound to happen. And if we could sincerely cry out to God with faith and trust, Mahapurush who comes into our life, connected through God, is the right one. It has to happen. Okay. You are bound to meet a personality when you cry out for it to God directly. Okay. There's no way it will not happen. And if you are able to directly perceive Gyan by surrendering to such a Mahapurush, then it is confirmed he's a true guru, right? Then it is hard to find Mahapurush with your intellect, as Mahapurush acts strangely, right? They they can act differently, and very difficult for us to actually decipher somebody as a divine personality using our intellect. Like I said, you cannot go with their dress code. You cannot go with how they walk, talk, act, stuff like that. There's no way for us to know that. And they will definitely not carry a board that I am God realized so and so, like people do, right? In MA, LLB, and this, that curve. They will not say I'm Golok return and this and kind of a. You have to kind of make an educated guess around it. And just by looking their actions and all, you'll not be able to make out. Okay, then what do you do is the key question, right? So, and then we need to have humility, basically. When we have a lot of pride and ego on our intellect or our own self, then also this process will not unfold. This is the little tricky thing, okay? Because even in shloka it says tad vidhi pranipaten. Pranipaten means you need to surrender your intellect. If you go with ego, so there's a difference between asking a question and being skeptical. There's a thin line between them, right? You can ask a question with reverence where your motive is to clear your doubt, or you can ask it skeptically where your pride is talking about it. You're just questioning, I know it better and I'm going to prove you wrong. If you go with that mindset, that connection will again not be established. And if you find another Mahapurush, then it's advisable to go Mahapurush under whom you started your sadhana. Now, you can have multiple Mahapurush in your life, but it is advisable to have an Anyata where you go to the Mahapurush under whom you started your sadhana. That is recommended. Then, not advisable to another Mahapurush because everybody has their own way of telling. Now, Shankaracharya, Vallabhacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they all had their own ways. In fact, if you look at Buddhism, Buddhism is a nihilist philosophy. They don't believe in soul or God. Now, after Buddhism came Shankaracharya ji, and Shankaracharya ji was was actually an Ansh avatar of Shankar Bhagwan only. And in Padma Puran, he has said that I'm going to come as Shankar, I'm going to take an avatar as a saint, and it will be a veiled Buddhism. Wherein, if immediately after Buddhism, Shankaracharya starts talking about chanting about God and devotion and love to God, people will say, what are you talking about here? So it's a veiled Buddhism where he built on where Buddha had left and introduced the concept of formless Brahman, Advaitwad. There's only one entity God. Okay, only one entity God. And then came Ramanujacharya. He said Vishisht Advait. He said, all right, there is only one entity, that is perfectly okay. But like a tree has different aspects to it. A tree has twigs, fruit, branches, leaves. Similarly, that same personality, there's a lot of diversity in it. There is diversity in unity and unity in diversity. So although there is one entity, but there are still having different features or different manifestations. And then, of course, Madhvacharya came. He said, no, soul and they are totally different. A soul is different from a soul, right? Everybody's soul is different. Otherwise, if we all one, then we can find the most intelligent student, make him God realized, and every one of us will become God realized. Doesn't work that way. We all souls are different, right? In that sense. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives, he said, Achintya Bheda Bhed Sambandh, where he said, we are same and yet different from God. And then he established that. And Kripalaji Maharaj, he reconciled all those philosophies as well. So really depending upon the guru that you are following, they have their own ways of telling things. If you start digging too many wells, you will get confused. Ananyata will not come. And then you will end up becoming totally confused. So it is advisable on this part to follow where you started your sadhana and keep digging that well. Having said that, if you're ready for the next message, don't be scared, latch on to it. It's not like, okay, I'm only going to focus on this one. A lot of people actually, especially who are not introduced to bhakti, they latch on to it once it starts making sense. So there we need a little bit of an open mind there as well. And then, like I said, disciples will get confused if they go to multiple gurus. And the key thing that we need to refrain from is do not develop ill will towards anybody. Okay, everybody is a Mahapurush, and you become neutral if you want to move on to the next thing, but do not harbor any ill will towards the previous guru who might be a saint. And it can be a spiritual transgression, which can throw your spiritual journey back multiple notches. And then just on doing your practical sadhana, once you hear Tattva Gyan from a Mahapurush, instead of going to 10 different 20 places, then it's like it doesn't work that way. Guru hopping and shopping is fine to begin with when you are in exploratory phase, but once it starts clicking, it's important to do sadhana as opposed to continuing in that mode for the rest of your life. And then the key thing is the true Mahapurush, they will not get angry or resentful even when you leave them and go to another Mahapurush. In fact, they would be more pleased because their only purpose is for you to develop love for God. A true saint which does not curse or feel bad or harbor any resentment as such. Okay, that's an important thing to understand. Now, anyways, no need to getting scared about gurus who fake cursing because they are not Mahapurush. If somebody is cursing you and you are feeling scared about it, that is also not right. They do not have that ability, Mahapurush. And true Mahapurush will not curse anyways. And once you have reached the shelter of Mahapurush, you are under they have some kind of a Suraksha Chakra around you. Fake gurus cannot do any harm to you, okay, even though they may pretend to. Keep your mind focused on Guru from whom you are benefiting more. Move forward in your goal. Your Antakaran, when it is cleansed, the time for Diksha arrives. Like we have spoken about this concept. And then once your Antakaran, the part is cleansed completely, there's nothing else to do. Only relishing ras. This is Diksha, spiritual happiness that you get towards the end. Okay, that's how it goes. Now, does Guru need to have a Guru? This is an important question. A lot of people say it has to be a chain that needs to be established. Does Guru have to be a Guru? So there are two kinds of Gurus. Type 1. Type 1 is those who accepted a Guru in acting for establishing example for the world, like Lord Krishna himself did. Lord Rama also did for that matter. Okay. And a lot of saints who have descended. And those who did not make a Guru but still possessed absolute divine knowledge. So that is also there. Both possibilities are there. Okay. Now, if we look at it, the cyclical chain here, if you look at Brahma, see Madhvacharya, his guru was Vedvyas, his guru was Parashar, Shakti, Vashisht, and then Vashisht, and then finally Ramanujacharya, and Vashisht guru was Brahma, and Brahma's guru is Narayan. Ramanujacharya, his guru is Yamunacharya, then Ram Mishra, you can already see that it rolls to Shri. Anyways, so the point here is all these gurus, there's a chain, but end of the day, they all roll up to Narayan. So there are the guru of everybody's guru is Narayan himself. We do Krishna Vande Jagat Gurum to begin with. So there's only one sampradaya coming from God. What problem that happens is when you start following somebody, let's say you are a Shankaracharya anuvai or Ramanujacharya or Madhvacharya, then you box yourself and you question about which sampradaya do you belong to, and I'm going to subscribe to that philosophy alone. We'll limit ourselves at that point. End of the day, if we understand the sampradayas, every sampradaya rolls to Brahmaji, Shri, and Narayan himself, God himself. So that establishing that chain is fine if you have been following a particular lineage, but if you look at it, the big picture aspect of it, everything rolls up to God only. And then you can subcategorize it as well, right? For example, in sampradayas, we talk about all these sampradayas. Anyways, I'm not going to get into it. And within Brahma Sampradaya, there are 8 segments. And then Gaudiya Sampradaya has Prachin and Naveen. And then within Naveen, there is Gaudiya Math and ISKCON. So basically, these lineage, all that stuff is established. Point here is, if there is a Sampradaya, end of the day, everything rolls up to God only. So a Guru, you don't need to be a part of a Sampradaya to be able to progress spiritually. That is the key message. Sampradayas are created. It's fine if that structure is there. Nobody's undermining that. But if you look at the big picture part of it, you don't need to be part of a sampradaya to progress spiritually. Because a lot of people, they ask this question, who's your guru's guru and guru's guru? And do you follow the Shankaracharya lineage or from a Madhvacharya or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It doesn't need. You can have an original Jagat Guru like Kripaluji Maharaj came, and I think that was the reason he did not associate himself with any sampradaya, because then people box you. Okay, you are from this sampradaya, so we go to. So you don't need that. Okay, you can have a guru who is original Jagat Guru like Maharaj came. So a guru does not need to have a guru. Okay, that is another thing that people usually question, and it's not understood in proper right. Any questions? I know we have covered a lot. I think I just wanted to open it up, and then we'll do a concluding discussion tomorrow on this topic. But happy to take any questions that you may have on what we have spoken about or discussed today. Questions?
Can I ask something?
Sure.
As you said that when we change our gurus and when we are not ready for a guru, suppose I take my example, I'm very critical, judgmental in seeing people. And in terms of guru, I just see inside out. I see more negative than positives. That's my nature. I know that's not right. But when you said that you surrender to God completely, then you have guru in front of you. So like I say, my example, when I started joining these classes, at that time I came to know about Krishna in a real sense. And then I surrendered to him completely. Then I came to know about Kripalji Maharaj and Swami Mukhandanji. And then they came to me, like you said, automatically. I had no clue. I did not even know about Kripalji Maharaj. But since I have, maybe I can say, surrendered to Kripalji Maharaj, or I take him as my guru, so is that enough? Or I need to do something extra so that the faith is more firm, it is more solidified, it is more cemented. So how do I do that? Are you getting my point?
Yeah, I get that point. So see, if you accept it, you need to deepen your spirit of surrender in that case, right? And how would you do that? When you deeply contemplate on the knowledge and implement those principles, that's when you are doing the acceptance. Otherwise, it's not like, okay, you are my guru, I put a garland around you and the job is done, right? You have to show something there. Show means you follow the teachings, and then you have to it's a sukshma thing, right? It's a subtle thing. You have to basically subscribe to those things and practice it on a day-to-day basis. What they are talking about, their philosophy, you need to put in thoughts, okay, this is a philosophy, this makes sense. And then, of course, that relationship is established. There's nothing else that is needed to be done after that. You do that, everything will grow from inside. You don't have to do anything. Now you have already taken the pill will do its job.
It's also possible that since somebody is in life form, and since I told you that it's my nature is that I just see more faults than positive in the person, I tend to see my guru, who's not in the physical form. Maybe I can correlate, or I can put more faith in the person who is not there, because since he is not there, I cannot see his negatives. And the person who is still there, I tend to see more of the things which not there. I try and build up those things on my own.
No, that
I
is
know, but that's I need to change there somewhat myself.
It's a conditioned state of our mind which results in that. See, you have not acquired this tendency in one lifetime alone. It's a conditioning that would have happened across multiple lifetimes, and then it becomes a mindset. And then this buddhi is the reason why we keep repeating in this world. It will not become Sharanagat. When you have that nature, it will not become Sharanagat. So first you have to create space for it with an open mind, right? Otherwise, if we continue to be hypercritical and think about if somebody is a saintly personality, that spiritual transgression you have taken 2 steps forward and 2000 backwards. So it's now you are stuck in a vicious cycle. So you need to pray to Krishna to help you out that, and then with his grace, I think things will start unfolding. Because why do we see defects in others? When we have a pride on our intellect. If you think deeply about this topic, the only reason we start finding faults in others is there's a subtle pride in us that we understand it better than us. If we could understand every instruction of Guru or every act of Guru, then there's no difference between us and Guru, right? So that's not the case. So you need to really have a prayerful heart towards Krishna so that he gives you that confidence. Otherwise, this is a cycle which will never break, and it cannot break magically. Trust me. So that has to be tackled very systematically and with some deep thought around it, because it's a serious thing if that happens, because that mindset can actually do more harm than good in long run. How do we overcome that? It requires God's grace for sure. So you need to pray to Krishna to help you out on that, if that is a challenge you feel is happening with you. But yeah, I think you just need to pray to Krishna, because he only can turn the key inside you. Nobody else can.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Radhe Radhe.
Important to have that, because like they say, right, even in Bhagavad Gita, I think 4.21 or something shloka, which says that Sanshya Atma Vinashyati na lokosti na paro sukham. That says that A skeptical soul, person who is an ever doubting person, they attain happiness neither in this world nor in the world thereafter. So it's important to develop faith. Faith is a great quality. Even in Bible says a faith worth a mustard seed can move mountains. It's a huge quality to have. So somewhere we have to do that. I know it's not a straightforward process, right? So much of conditioning of our mind, but this whole being skeptical about everything in life, it doesn't lead us very far. Right? How far we want to take it basically is the question. I'm not saying become dumb. Nobody's saying become blind. But then when something is clicking, take it to the next level. It's like any other experiment. Like tomorrow, if you want to, let's say, build 6 packs, you will put trust in some author's book. Then you will follow the instructions that are said, cut down on sugar, do exercises, do that. And then if you don't see the results, reject it. Spirituality is no different. You subscribe to a guru, you understand their philosophy deeply. Try to understand that. Try to understand the principles that they're talking about. If it doesn't work for you, move on. But without even trying, we become skeptical and reject it, then it becomes problematic. Then it's a mindset problem. So that needs to be tackled seriously. But you need to have faith. It's a game of nishtha and shraddha, but intelligent faith, not blind faith. Yes, Aparna ji.
Aparna ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. I just wanted to quickly tell about my journey, and then I have a question as well. Actually, Lord Krishna has been so graceful to me. I was just distressed and didn't even know to cry out to Krishna, like you said, and ask for a guru. I just recognized that I didn't have anyone to guide me, and I was seeking anybody and everybody, for knowledge, although I was going to material positions like let's say like a cop to discipline something, and started talking about the problems to distant friends, which must have made me look weird. And my sister was following Swamiji, and she used to meet him regularly in California, and for morning walks and all. She had a close relationship. So, and then I was obsessed actually. And once she was with Swamiji, and right after morning walk, I think she was at a satsang at a devotee's place, and she was nice enough to connect me over the phone with Swamiji, and he spoke to me. He gave me like 10 minutes, 10 solid minutes over the phone. He was talking to me, and out of his such busy schedule, I mean, after that, I think I did not have to look any further. Then I met him in New Jersey when he came. Every piece of knowledge he has given makes such sense, and it's so deep. And actually, I am failing on my part, in implementation. I'm going slow, but Swamiji's knowledge is so implementable and realizable. So every time, I mean, it's the same Bhagavad Gita, same slokas. I mean, in your class or in the morning class with Rajesh Aranji, any other classes, it gives me different realization every time I listen to it. So I'm not even tempted to look or listen to anyone else. There's lots of WhatsApp messages that keep coming, like, I don't want to name, but I don't even feel like looking. I mean, even if somebody is showing it to me, I will see, but it doesn't make any impact because I'm at so much peace right now. Like, I have found, and I don't even need to look any further. So that's my thing.
That's good.
And yeah. So yeah. And so it has given me such peace. And so there is nothing, I mean, only implementation. So I know where to focus. So
That's
it has made my life so simple, so simple.
Yeah,
So yeah. So I just wanted to share that, and then I had one question which is not exactly related to this, but there's like Udupi Krishna, you showed me that hierarchy, right? In that in Udupi and all, they always worship Krishna. And the place I come from, it's always Krishna who is worshipped. Why not Radha and Krishna? So I always have that question in my mind. I mean, you don't have to address it now, but whenever you get a chance, you can do that.
I don't know. I mean, I think that will be a question. See, somebody might give more preference to Shaktiman. Somebody might give preference to Shakti, somebody might hold them together. So that might be a question for them. But if you think about it, now that you have got an exposure to the deeper concept around it, there is no difference between Shakti and Shaktiman. In fact, the way to Shaktiman is through Shakti. It becomes sweeter. It's like the way to father is through a mother. And that's about it. All the both are same. So why do they do that? I mean, that answer they only
Yeah,
can.
I never even knew about Radha ji. I
Okay.
didn't know to worship
We
actually.
have spoken
Only
about
Krishna.
Radha Tattva, right, in detail,
Yeah.
Mother's Day and otherwise, and we'll keep revising that concept. But now that you have gotten the complete, understanding around the Radha Tattva and Krishna Tattva, then you take your call. You have access to higher knowledge. There's no reason for you to limit yourself to a particular thing, right? Although God name is God, but the ways to approach God, you can simplify that process for yourself. And then if you have an option, why not? Kind of a deal. But it's great. At least you feel strongly connected and your life is changing. And like I always say, the proof is in the pudding. You don't have to go with what somebody's saying. Go and try yourself. And if it doesn't work, reject it. Move on. But somewhere we have to start and keep doing that. Because if we think there's absolutely nobody in this world for me created, perfect guru for me, and then that's not the right thing. There are enough spiritual masters in this world which God has handpicked for you. Now you have to do your bit, right? We should not shy away from doing our bit. And just because we have a conditioned mindset which is ever skeptical, and that becomes a reason for our downfall lifetime after lifetime, then we need to really seriously tackle it and pray to God that doesn't happen. Faith, this is a journey of faith. Actually, it's a journey of faith, and but that faith has to be an intelligent faith backed with a lot of stuff that goes behind it. You do your exploration, you listen to different people, you try to understand that philosophy. Don't settle down just like that, and see which appeals to your reasoning, and then start implementing a part of it. And where you start feeling the transformation and benefit, try to take it to the next level. That's how this journey unfolds, and end of the day, it's a journey of faith only. Yes, any other question? Please fill in the feedback tracker if you have any more questions, because tomorrow we'll conclude this fascinating discussion that we're having on this topic. I hope we are able to do a bit of justice to it, because it's a pretty profound topic. But any questions that are left unanswered, I'll be more than happy to take it up tomorrow. Yes, Shyamji.
जितिन भाई, one important announcement, एक बहुत ही सूचना है आवश्यक. Swamiji is landing in Delhi, I guess, tomorrow day after, and we have a chance to meet him on 17 in Gurgaon, and in Delhi on 18-19. So jo log who are in Delhi around Gurgaon so can have a chance to meet him on 17 in Gurgaon and 18-19 in Delhi.
Wonderful.
So I'm excited for 17. So if anybody is around Gurgaon, let me know. And I'll plan and have a unfilled evening with Swamiji.
I would say prioritize meeting him, because you may think what will happen meeting him, once, or this big deal, the same thing they will say. But I'm telling you, it makes a difference. In fact,
I have met him all the two occasions since they have known him. So I made a point to meet him. And this is my third time in the last 3 years. I'm all excited to meet him on 17th. So let's all make a extra effort to be there if we can. Let's see.
Yes, and then I would also encourage you to attend one of his retreats and stuff. These things, some of your experiences would solidify this connect, because the sessions that we are doing, of course, it's backed on the knowledge that Maharaji and Swamiji has provided to us. It's a foot in the door. But if you want to take your journey to the next level or catapult it to the next level, meet him, establish a connection with him, join SMX, go to his retreats, and then see how this journey starts unfolding. And he's very accessible, trust me.
Yes,
He
no doubt.
gives you his email and phone, then it's never that he'll not respond. Okay, that much accessible he is. Very accessible, very approachable, and you can ask him anything, any question. SMX, if you're not there, join SMX. You can ask your personal questions every month, and there are a lot of platforms that he's enabled for all of us. So I would say strongly encourage you to meet him whenever possible, either through a retreat or otherwise. That will really change a lot of dynamics for your spiritual journey.
Yes, and we also have 2 camps in India. One, I guess, in November in Orissa, and one in December.
Odisha.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
January in Bangalore, Tirupati. Yes. So we have some important guests coming from US. So let's plan if we can meet them also in December camp.
That would be exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions related to this topic on Guru? Yes, Prabhat, go ahead. We have 4 more minutes.
Radhe Radhe. So, as we know that Guru and God is same. So my question is likewise we have bhav for God like Vatsalya bhav, Madhurya bhav, and Shakha bhav. So in the similar way, we should if we are getting the same bhav for Guru, then it is okay, right?
Sure. I mean, if you ask, technically, yes. You can ask that to Guru directly. Technically, yes, if you think about it that way. Although the way our mind or conditioning works, the way we look at our Guru is typically the Dasya Bhav, where you want to serve him, right? But are any other bhavs okay to practice with him? I think you better hear it from Guru's mouth only, rather than me speculating about it. But yeah, good technical question in that sense.
One more question. Like sometimes like you said that one person can take that position, one soul can take that position of Guru, right? So sometimes I think but I assume Kripaluji as my Guru, main Guru, and sometimes I consider Swamiji as my main Guru. So it's like sometimes it's like rolling thing. Sometimes I can see him in front, and sometimes I see Kripaluji in front.
So I would say this is a question you can ask Swamiji directly, but the way I understand this whole thing is that Maharaj Ji is a Param Guru, of course. This whole knowledge, this whole Ganges of knowledge that we are getting is given to us by him. However, as part of the design, we were not fortunate enough to meet him directly. So maybe as part of the design, so it's through Swamiji that it is flowing to us. And if that kind of a connection is getting established, maybe it's through divine inspiration only, right? So you can ask Swamiji that question. I think he's answered in a few SMX as well, which would be perfectly normal, because he may be the chosen one for you by Maharaj Ji, because we did not have the good fortune of meeting a saint during our lifetime. At least I was not fortunate enough. If some of you are, we may want to talk about that. So it's part of that design that he has continued that knowledge to, for people like us who may not have any eligibility, and through design, Swamiji is the chosen one for us. And that's how I see it. Okay, any more questions? I hope it was an interesting topic, right? It was a good topic, spirituality, Guru, and all that stuff. And these kind of questions do keep popping up. And then I always used to think, people would say, why do we need a Guru? And then people come back, I'm my own Guru. These statements are born more out of ignorance than anything else. Now, hopefully, we are armed with the knowledge that would help us see these things in the right perspective, as opposed to getting lost in some of the things which are born more out of ignorance than anything else. Good to see you, Dr. Sudhir, after long. Welcome back to our session. I think you're joining after a while.
Yeah. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
We are eagerly waiting for Swamiji's program in Chennai. So we are organizing it. So we have now a satsang also at Chennai. So it's going on very well.
Very nice. Wish you the very best. And I'm sure it'll be a lot of exciting times for you coming ahead, and a lot of coordination would be needed to make it happen.
Yes. We are working hard to make it happen. Yeah.
Nice. We are excited.
And all the motivation came from your classes.
What happened? Sorry?
All the motivation came from your classes, getting into this spiritual pathway.
Yeah. So it's all Swamiji's inspiration. We were mere facilitators, but very nice to see you back, and a great heartening to see that you are coordinating satsang in Chennai as well now. So that's a wonderful. I still remember Dr. Sudhir used to be one of our initial participants, like Shyamji, Samji. Dr. Sudhir used to come initially. So we started off 3 years back, close to 3 years back now, 2.5 years back. But yeah, good to see you back.
Yeah, because too much of trying to adjust with the time to attend some of the classes, but I make sure at least one class is attended every day. Yeah, yeah, nice.
Very
Radhe
nice.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. And all the best with your preparations for the Swamiji's visit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have two comments in the chat box. Can I read them, please?
Sure, please.
Uday Kumar ji is asking, please share the slide on spiritual happiness. And Jayashree's Radhe Radhe, I could not control my anger, though I am motivated by listening Gita. Please advise steps to practice.
Okay. Steps to practice for what? Can you please read that again?
I could not control my anger, though I am motivated by listening Gita. Please advise steps to practice. I guess steps to practice more listening to Gita or controlling anger.
So
Either way.
we have done an anger management series, 2.63. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhrama, smriti bhranchat, buddhi nasho, buddhi nashat pranashyati. This shloka, we have done a week-long session on anger management. Now I can refer to you, if you put it in the feedback tracker, the series, the YouTube links for that. You can go through that, or I can bring it to, again, as the opportunity presents, because this is a topic a lot of people love, going through that anger part of it. So anger, yeah, I mean, if I were to give you a quick 2-minute spiel on this, I would say it's like drinking the poison and hoping somebody else will die. But think about it. You have acquired a lot of meritorious or spiritual assets, and then you are willing to let go of it in a flash of anger. Why would you do that? It's like it has taken you years and years of sadhana to accumulate something, and if somebody tells you in a matter of few seconds you can let it all go, will you do that? You will not do that in real life. And that's essentially what happens in anger, because we come down, our intellect gets clouded, and we come down to the level of an animal. There's no difference between an animal and a human at that point. And secondly, we need to give ourselves a strong reason why not to get angry. Okay, now think about it. If I were to tell you next time you get angry, 1 lakh rupees from your bank account will vanish, and it starts happening, you will find a reason not to get angry, I'm telling you. Okay, because an immediate impact is happening, right? And then anger always flows top down. Have anybody seen anybody getting angry back on their boss on a Monday morning? Nobody does. Boss yells at an employee will have a tough day, he will yell at his subordinate will come back home and yell at his wife will yell at the son will take out the anger on the dog. It never flows upwards. So think about it. We do have an ability to control it. It's just that we don't find a good enough reason why to control it at this point. But we have done a pretty long series on that. Happy to bring it back to one of our sessions, or I can point you to the series that we have done, which you can take a look at and benefit from. Anger management workshop. Yes, that's what we did that. And I think somebody's already posted. Thank you, Sandhya.
Sandhya, thank you so much.
And I have gotten a question that what is the trigger for Guru connection? Does consistent sadhana spark the connection with that Guru, or is the motivation for consistent sadhana sparked once Guru connection is established? Okay, it's a chicken and egg kind of a situation, right? I asked because I followed a couple of Gurus but not established that connection yet. Yeah, so I think we can talk more on this topic, but one of the symptoms is when you hear the message of one of the Gurus, right? Typically, it will pierce your heart. It's like a knife cutting through a hot knife cutting through the butter. That connection would be instantaneous. If you haven't felt that, then I think you need to keep on checking it out, but have that burning desire to find a Guru on, because that would lead you to a master or a Guru that you would know that, you know what, now my quest has ended. I intuitively, you would know, God would establish that faith that, this is the person I need to listen more of, and who has the potential to take my spiritual journey to the next level. So keep moving ahead with faith, and keep praying to God that make me meet, because I really need it. I'm really yearning for it. So keep that desire on, and the symptom that to latch on to will, the message will pierce and cut through your heart. That is the sure shot symptom, and God will establish that faith. This is how this journey typically goes. Hope I answered part of your question. If not, happy to have an offline conversation on this as well. Please put it in the feedback tracker. Yes, Ajit ji. So yesterday we were talking about tears. Go ahead, Ajit ji. I'm going to talk a little bit more
No,
about
no, regarding this query, QA, actually I joined quite late. I thought that today is the QA session. So I got one point in your answer, the interpretation of Bhagavad Gita slok 2/63.
2.63.
Isn't it? 2.63. 6.3 represents the affection, love and affection. 36 is the opposite.
Yeah.
And 2 is the two persons. So
Okay.
what my interpretation, 3 and 6, one is a smaller and other is the big. So the elder should not angry upon the youngers, and younger should give respect to the elders.
Yeah.
And this is the between two. So this is what I want to comment.
That's a good
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Ajit ji. Radhe Radhe. That was a good observation. Okay. Anybody else? Are we good? Feedback tracker has been posted. Please do fill it out and put in your questions as well. And yes, yesterday we were talking about tears. So again, for those of you who missed it out, if you feel tears, right, that is a good symptom on the path of spirituality. In fact, tears is one of the things that can accelerate or the cleansing process of your heart, or antakaran, so to say. And Maharaj Ji said that the amount of tears that we have shed for this world, even if we had shed 1% of it for God, we would have realized God not once but multiple times. That is the power of that, right? So we have wasted a lot of emotions on the world. We continue to do that. But if only a small fraction of that you start diverting towards God, which is not a straightforward process, of course, your intellectually needs to be convinced, and you need to have certain, realizations yourself for that to deepen. But those of you who have had, you would understand that when you feel even a trace of divinity, when people go to retreat or they feel that abhas of God, the tears automatically swell out because you have never felt something like that in your real world, no matter which relation it has been. So that is the power of divine love. And but the quality of tear also changes, right, depending upon the phase of life that we are in. Let's say you are upset or you are going through a tough phase in life, and automatically a bit of a God and some care that you see there, or something that you feel, the two tears will swell out. But it is said when the real tears, that means purely for the sake of God's love, will come out of your eyes, then Krishna himself is forced to come in front of you and wipe it off using his pitambar. That would be the real tears, but that would be the advanced stage. Having said that, if tears come naturally to you, when you sit in front of God or thinking about it, it's a great, great asset to have. Some people feel embarrassed that, they cry, but I would say it's an asset on the path of spirituality. It's a great asset to have. And if people, and, Maharaj Ji used to say that, shed tears. And there was a guy, devotee, he said, I don't get tears. So one day he got a mirchi powder and started putting in his eyes. So Maharaj Ji was moved by this, this kind of a cry. But the point is, if it comes naturally to you, then you are blessed and make the most of it. Yes, Prabhat, maybe the last question, and then we move to our devotional segment.
So, Nitinji, I just want to know that if there are two types of tear, which I believe, I just want to you to highlight something on it. Like one is related to viraha, like when we are feeling that God is not with us, and we want God to be with us. So one is viraha tear, another is love tear. When we think that He is always with us, and we are so blessed that He is always accompanying us, and He is every time He is with us. So that feeling is also because of that feeling we are also getting tears. So is it possible that we are getting these both tears simultaneously? And is there any more type of tear beside these two tears? Matlab, I want to know that.
So in this, it is said that, I'll tell you based on my limited understanding. Maybe next time it happens, you collect it and measure the temperature. Okay, the temperature would vary in both the cases. Okay, depending upon whether it's the tear of, having that feeling he's with me or he's away from me. And having said that, it is said the quality that tears or that feeling of vira is higher than that of milan, that God is with me, because that feeling that God is with me is something which is like he's with you, right? Your mind is there in God when he's with you, but with Vira, it's constantly with God. So it is said that that is even higher level of, feeling that union with God, when you feel separated from God and shed those tears. That is at least what I've heard from Maharajji's lecture. The temperature also varies of tears, okay? Now, with which one is lukewarm, which one is cold, and which one is hot, you can check it out, but I think that also varies. But Viraha is considered much higher than the feeling of union with God. And Viraha, that's where Lord Krishna spent 11 years, 52 days in Braj, then 14 years in Dwarka. After that, he gave 14 years of Vira to gopis in Dwarka. After 11 years, he had departed Braj. And then 100 years in Mathura. So, people would be thinking that Rukmini and other queens who were with Krishna, they were privileged. But if you think about it, gopis are privileged even more, even though they got a Vira of 100 years. So, Vira is considered even higher than the feeling of union. Okay. They got the better ras. So to say, now in real life, you would think what kind of a ras that is, missing somebody. But in divine realm, I think the dynamics change a little bit there. So at least I don't, I mean, conceptually, I understand. Maybe one of these days it'll make sense. Yes, Sandhya, you had a question too?
No question. Do we want to share the scoreboard today?
Let's share the scoreboard of our Seva teams. I think it's long overdue. And if you have not updated, too bad. Let's share that, and then you have makeup opportunity for next Sunday.
I just had a look at it, and many people have updated it. Scores are like skyrocketing high. And the people who have been kind of pushing me to share the scoreboard, they are like, you can guess where they are. Okay, let me just show it without any further ado. Here is the scoreboard. And as you can see, Enthusiastic is leading with how many scores, Nitinji? 128,000.
Oh my, 128,000?
Yes.
Monica ji was saying no. I think she was clueless that her team has already updated it.
And then soon after, Ananya team, very nice, right? They're 60,000, then 40,000 selfless, very close margin, and then Vinamra also 21,000. This is like surprise, very pleasant surprise.
I think we had a lot of videos that RKT Factory had churned out, and maybe that's where we had a lot of reason during Diwali to like, share, comment a lot of videos, right? So that's great.
That is there, and I think more importantly, the fact we have started adding Kahoot scores. So people are all adding their Kahoot scores very excitingly. But yeah, I can see for likes, like Prabhat Bhaiya is leading, Insham ji, Komal ji, Chikki, Sairam ji. And Anita Ramanna ji is back. See? That has made a lot of difference.
Anita ji is the Don Bradman of Seva. She scored heavily.
Yes, you see, yeah. But great, awesome. Like multiple people have been actively participating in noting down their scores. So awesome.
So congratulations to all the team. By the way, we have a few assignments coming up in case you want to plan for it proactively. One is going to be the Jagat Gurutam Divas in January, right? That is going to come up. So think about it. It's an opportunity for us to create something interesting for Maharajji as a tribute to him. And then we have a 3rd year anniversary coming up in January as well. Okay, 3 years we will be completing. Now you want to do 3 years or you want to do 1,000 sessions, whichever one is your pick, both are coming very soon. Okay, so we will celebrate it because it's a kind of a milestone for us, all of us, to be attending these sessions for the 3 years of Bhagavad Gita is a long time, right? So I think it's a reason for us to do something special on that occasion as well.
There are 2 messages from Singh sisters. One is from Monica ji. She's saying, my team is my pride. Except for me, everyone else in my team actually updated their scores. So that's awesome.
It's a good pride to have, yeah.
And Chikki is saying, can we spin the wheel for the turns for Jagat Gurutam Divas presentations?
Okay, we'll spin the wheel. It's regardless of that. Like I said, internal motivation and external motivation. This is an internal motivation thing, okay? You be prepared and then wheel will take care of it regardless. So start lining up thought process around it. We have a lot of stuff coming up in January, so we have enough time to plan for it. And opportunity to come together as a team like we have done so wonderfully well in the past as well. So let's do that too. Okay, are
Awesome.
you good with the bhajan segment then? Let's move to the chanting segment. Maybe a couple of recitations we can do. And I know you would be raring to sleep early today because we have a big match coming up. Bharat versus...
New Zealand.
No, it's called Naveen Z Pradesh. Okay, pure
Okay.
Hindi.
Why Z?
Yeah, India versus New Zealand. So those of you who are cricket enthusiasts, all the best. I'll probably just check the score. Okay, so are we good to move to our devotional segment then?
Yes, I guess.
Okay, yes. Rahul, go ahead. Maybe a few hands we can take and then wrap it up. By the way, tomorrow we'll conclude our discussion on the topic of Guru. We'll pick up some more concepts that we have not spoken about and we'll conclude our discussion. Then we move to 4.36. 3 years and we are still on chapter 4. Can you believe it? This is how fast we are going. Sudhirji, are you surprised we are still on chapter 4? By the way, we have gone back and forth, right? We pick up a lot of shlokas from 10th chapter, 15th chapter, 18th chapter, cross-reference, all that stuff. But sequentially, we are still in chapter 4, which is a good sign because by the time we complete the Bhagavad Gita, it will be like the back of your hand. You will know, okay, this chapter has this and this is what we had discussed. That's the whole idea. Okay, so many hands are there today. Rahul, go ahead. Monica ji will give you, oh, you want to go as well, sing today?
She wants to say something. I think you said 3 years, 4 chapters, na? She wants to say
Yeah, go
something.
ahead, please.
Thank you. It's difficult to say that I don't want to sing, I want to talk.
Yes.
So I was saying about the 4 years thing, right, Nitinji? I think one Premanand Maharaj's 3 years,
4
but then
chapters.
4 chapters. But I hope this continues till the time Bhagavad Gita continues until we get Bhagavad Prapti.
Even
I was
after
listening
that,
to-
Golok
Even
will-
after that, yes. Maybe in Golok, Nitinji will be conducting his own sessions there also. And then I was actually listening to, actually Premanand Maharaj's video just popped up and he was talking about Bhagavad Gita or any other scriptures, you know, if somebody, he was saying that you cannot understand the scriptures on your own without limited exposure and whatever logical mind. So you need somebody. So I just wanted to reiterate the same fact that we are very lucky to have you, you know, who's conducting the sessions every single day. This is like a satsang, right? Seva, satsang, sadhana. So sadhana, Brahma Muhurat Club, anybody wants to join can reach out to me. Seva.
Get ready for those smiles as well, huh?
Yeah. Sadhana, I mean, it's on us, right? But this is like satsang that is happening every day for us, unconditionally, regardless. So thank you.
And it is all, I think the credit should go to and gratitude should go to Swamiji, who has given us this beautiful platform. And I'm telling you, if it is clicking and it is making sense, it is all because of their grace. It is not a topic that can be understood so easily. And if it is clicking, the right words are coming, the right faith is getting established, the knots are unraveling in your head. It's all God's grace. It's not a straightforward thing, trust me. It's a very, what do you call that, a deep topic. And if it is, you know, we can discuss it only because of God's and Guru's grace. That's the only thing. And we are fortunate. We are definitely very, very fortunate in that sense. So bring in your friends, family. I would say each one of you can inspire another soul. That will be great. And I've seen so many people in our sessions, they have come from referrals, word of mouth referrals. Somebody's telling their friend and then they're telling their friend and then that's how it works. And this is how it's meant to be. So do bring in your friends. We do get spiritual commission around it. And it's a great family that we have. I look forward to it every day. Like people go out for parties every day. Okay, we have this party. I said, I have the best party every night, 9 o'clock. I look forward to. And it's a great routine to get into, right? So I miss it, to be honest, whenever there's a bit of a break. But I try not to cancel it. But it's one of those routines you don't want to miss out on. Okay, let's get into our devotional segment. Komalji, you wanted to sing today? Let's take the new hands.
No. I don't want to sing, Nitinji, but I just want. My journey has started almost a year ago, and it has been a wonderful journey. I was looking for something, but I got into Bhagavad Gita, and since then I never looked back. So much for everything you have done so far. And I'm looking forward. I'll be like one of the, regular, I would say, student who don't want single class of yours.
That's good to know.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure is all ours, basically. We have a wonderful group. So, in fact, I'm learning from each one of you, and you are helping me in my journey as well, right? By turning up every day, giving me the incentive and motivation to read things and asking questions. So, I'm the biggest beneficiary, to be honest, out of this whole experience. So, thank you to each one of you for that. Okay, so who's going to sing today? Nobody's singing, everybody's telling. Now, go ahead, Rahul. We'll start with Rahul, Prabhat, and Sandhya. 3 hands, and then I think that will take us close to 10:30 already. And Monica just kicking me out already. You need to get up in the morning tomorrow. Okay, yes.
Just 2 lines.
Yes.
Hari Kripa Guru Mile Govind Radhe Guru Kripa Hari Mile Sabko Bata De. Radhe Radhe.
Very nice, short and sweet. Thank you, Rahul. Prabhat, go ahead, please.
Radhe Radhe. I just wrote 2 lines. I just want to recite those 2 lines. मन मेरा बस माने तेरी, मन मेरा बस माने तेरी, तू आजा सुन विनती मेरी, तू आजा सुन विनती मेरी, गुरुवर तू कृपा का सिंधु, गुरुवर तू कृपा का सिंधु, लगा देश विरहा पे बिंदु.
Wow. Beautiful. Good. I think you have a gift. Keep it up and keep writing your compositions. Very nice. Good job, Prabhat. Thank you. Yes, Sandhya, go ahead.
Okay. राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, गोविंद राधे, मेरे दोनों ठाकुर गोविंद राधे, बोरी भारी राधे गोविंद सीधे साधे, राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, सदा मुस्कुराए दोनों गोविंद राधे, मेरे शुभ कामनाएं हैं उनको बता दे, राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे गोविंद, राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, मेरे दो ठाकुर गोविंद राधे, मोहि दासी 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 बना दे, राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे गोविंद, राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, एक वर दे दे राधे गोविंद राधे, भूले हूँ भूलू नहीं तू ही पल आधे, राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे गोविंद, राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे. Done.
Thank you, Sandhya. Beautiful bhajan. Radha Govind Naam Sankirtan as well in that. So thank you for that. Okay, I'll sing maybe a couple of lines and then we'll wrap it up then. Radha Vallabh Kunj Vihari Murlidhar Govardhan Radha Vallabha Kunj Vihari Murlidhar Govardhan Dhari He Raghunandan Pran Pirite Tum Binu Bahut Jahut Din Bite Radha Vallabha Kunj Vihari Murlidhar Govardhan Dhari Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Radha Vallabha Kunj Vihari Murlidhar Govardhan Dhari. Okay, Radhe Radhe. Thank you everyone for your enthusiastic, selfless, vinamra and ananya participation. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Radhe Radhe. Have a good day and a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you again.